Have you ever heard of a villain so popular, so charismatic, that he almost kicked the hero out of his own story? No, I'm not talking about Loki or the Joker today. We're rediving into this strange and fascinating tale of a character who was never meant to be the star, but whose sheer coolness nearly rewrote the entire script. This is the story of Sesamaru, the first villain who almost replaced the hero. Back in the late 90s, the manga and anime world was captivated by Rumiko Takahashi's masterpiece, Inuyasha. The story follows a half-demon named Inuyasha and a modern-day girl, Kagome Higurashi, on their quest to collect the shards of the sacred Shikan jewel. Inuyasha was the classic shonen protagonist, hot-headed, a bit rough around the edges, but with a good heart buried underneath. He was the undisputed hero, or so we thought. Then, he appeared, Sesamaru, Inuyasha's full-blooded demon older brother. From his very first entrance, everything about him screamed final boss. He was elegant, impossibly powerful, and radiated an aura of cold, aristocratic disdain. He looked down on everyone, especially his impure half-brother Inuyasha. His design was flawless. Long, silver hair, striking golden eyes, a crescent moon on his forehead, and that fluffy bow-like thing on his shoulder that somehow looked incredibly cool. He was the polar opposite of Inuyasha's scruffy, impulsive nature. Sesamaru was calm, calculating, and utterly ruthless. In the beginning, his role was clear: be the antagonistic force, the powerful rival that pushes the hero to grow stronger. He wanted their father's legendary sword, Tetsusiga, and was willing to destroy anyone, including his own brother, to get it. He was a pure, unapologetic villain. He saw humans as nothing more than insects and had zero compassion. The perfect bad guy, right? Well, that's where things started to get complicated. The fans loved him, and I mean, they really loved him. In popularity polls in Japan, Sesamaru consistently ranked higher than Inuyasha. Think about that for a second. The villain was more popular than the main character. This wasn't just a small niche group of fans. It was a massive mainstream phenomenon. Magazine covers, merchandise, fan arts. Sesamaru was everywhere. He had this magnetic, enigmatic quality that just drew people in. So, why? What made this cold-hearted demon so appealing? A big part of it was his MO gap. This is a term for the contrast between a character's usual demeanor and a rare unexpected side of their personality. While Sesamaru was a terrifyingly powerful demon lord, his journey introduced a tiny, human girl named Rin. He found her beaten and left for dead by wolves. His first instinct was to ignore her, but she kept coming back, offering him food with a pure, innocent smile, even after he coldly rejected her. Later, when she was killed by those same wolves, Sesamaru found her body, and here, something shifted. Using his father's other sword, the Tensuga blade that can revive the dead but not harm the living, a sword he initially despised, he brought her back to life. He couldn't explain why he did it. This one act, this single moment of unexplained compassion, cracked open the door to his character. He, the great Lord Sesamaru, who despised humans, now had a small human child following him everywhere, calling him Lord Sesamaru, with unwavering devotion. This dynamic was pure gold. The contrast between the silent, stoic demon and the cheerful, chattering little girl was irresistible. Rin brought out a protective, almost paternal side of him that no one, not even Sesamaru himself, knew existed. He never became talkative or overtly emotional. His affection was shown through actions, not words. He'd silently protect her, obliterate any demon that threatened her, and even traveled to the underworld to save her life. His famous line, "In exchange for Rin's life, there is nothing of equal value," cemented his transformation. He wasn't just a villain anymore. He was an anti-hero, a complex character on a journey of his own. The creator, Rumiko Takahashi, clearly noticed the overwhelming fan reaction. Sesamaru's role in the story began to expand dramatically. He went from being a recurring villain to a major player with his own story arc, companions, and character development that ran parallel to Inuyasha's. He wasn't just there to fight his brother anymore. He was on a quest to surpass his legendary father, not just in power, but in character. His journey was about understanding what true strength meant. It wasn't about wielding a destructive sword. It was about having something to protect. This shift was so significant that for large parts of the story, you could almost forget who the main character was supposed to be. Sesamaru's battles were often more epic, his emotional breakthroughs more profound. While Inuyasha was caught in a love triangle and struggled with his demonic nature, Sesamaru was evolving from a being of pure power into a truly great lord in his own right. He even gained his own unique and incredibly powerful sword, Bakasega, born from his own body, symbolizing that he had finally stepped out of his father's shadow and become his own entity. This phenomenon, where a secondary character or villain becomes so popular they start to take over the narrative, is sometimes called the Sesamaru effect. He was one of the earliest and most prominent examples in modern anime. He wasn't just a cool bad guy. He was a character who grew, changed, and earned the audience's respect and admiration in a way that few villains ever have. His popularity proved that audiences crave complexity. We don't just want a good guy to root for. We want compelling characters, regardless of which side they're on. Sesamaru's journey from a ruthless villain to a beloved anti-hero is a masterclass in character development. He showed that a character's initial role doesn't have to define their entire existence. The love from the fans gave him a new life, a new path that made the entire world of Inuyasha richer and more memorable. He may have started as a villain trying to steal his brother's sword, but he ended up stealing the hearts of millions of fans around the world, and nearly stealing the show itself. Years later, when a sequel series Yashaheim Princess Haftaman was announced, who were the main characters? Inuyasha, and Kagome's daughter, and Sesamaru's twin daughters. That's right. His legacy was so powerful that it literally became the foundation for the next generation. He didn't just almost replace the hero, his bloodline became the new heroes. Now that's what you call a promotion. So, the next time you watch a show and find yourself rooting for the bad guy, remember Sesamaru. He's the original, the blueprint for the villain who is just too cool to stay a villain. The one who proved that sometimes the most compelling journey isn't the hero's, but the one who walks in the shadows. What do you think? Was Sesamaru your favorite character too? Let me know in the comments below who your favorite anime anti-hero is. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more deep dives into anime history. See you next time.